मॉर्निंग डैलस, गुड इवनिंग इंडिया, गुड इवनिंग भारत बोलते हुए आप सबको राजीव कुलकर्णी का प्यार भरा नमस्कार और वेलकम टू भारत अन्वेषण। आज का दिन फरवरी 8 2026, ऑलरेडी जनवरी मंथ गुजर गया 2026 का। और 2025 कैसे गुजर गया मुझे तो पता नहीं है भाई, इतना जल्दी से गुजर गया कि एट ए ब्लिंक ऑफ एन आई जैसे हम लोग बोलते हैं, राइट। तो चलिए आज का एक कार्यक्रम शुरू करेंगे, लेकिन शुरू करने के पहले आपको पता है हम उस भगवान को, उस परमात्मा को याद करके शुरू करते हैं। आज भी उस परमात्मा को याद करके एक कार्यक्रम शुरू करेंगे। आइए। नमस्कार सभी दर्शकों को, राजीव कुलकर्णी का प्यार भरा स्वागत करता हुआ भारत अन्वेषण कार्यक्रम में। आज का दिन है फरवरी 8 2026। हाँ जी, सबसे पहले तो आप सबको बहुत 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 थैंक यू बोलना चाहता हूँ, बिकॉज यू वॉच दिस शो एवरी संडे। और हमारे जो चैनल का जो लिंक है वो भी आप सब्सक्राइब भी करते हो और उसको शेयर भी करते हो। Thank you so very much for that. We have almost reached 6,500 subscribers. Yes. And we will be getting to 10,000 very soon. देखते हैं, आप सबका अगर कृपा रहे, आप सबका प्यार रहे और सपोर्ट रहे तो बहुत जल्दी 10,000 सब्सक्राइबर्स ऐसे पहुंच जाएंगे। My subscribers, why I ask to subscribe more and more and more is basically not from commercial perspective, just to get my guest motivated कि भाई more the subscribers, more the viewership. More the viewership means my guest is happy and I am happy. चलिए आज का ये कार्यक्रम शुरू करते हैं, लेकिन उससे पहले मैं संदीप को भी थैंक यू बोलना चाहता हूँ। संदीप इज ऑलवेज देयर टू सपोर्ट अस both for my Kannada channel as well as Hindi channel, and also I do an electronics channel on Friday. उसके लिए भी वो सब सीन वगैरह हमको बना के देते हैं. संदीप, thank you so very much for that. You being there always for me on my back. तो और जो सपोर्टर्स हैं उनको भी मैं थैंक यू बोलना चाहता हूँ. और जो हमारे जो दोस्त हैं मिस्टर शरण अंगड़ी, उनको भी मैं थैंक यू बोलना चाहता हूँ. वो मैं क्यों थैंक यू बोल रहा हूँ उसका मैं रीज़न बाद में बताऊंगा, लेकिन उसके पहले आज हमारे जो गेस्ट है उनके बारे में 2 वर्ड्स मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ. शी इज़ अ फॉर्मर फिजिशियन एंड फॉर्च्यून 5 एग्जीक्यूटिव हु हेल्प्स लीडर्स reduce mental stress and reset their nervous systems using EFT, that is emotional freedom technique. EFT, ये ज़रा याद रखना आप. EFT is emotional freedom technique and science backed mind body tools. She also advises companies in healthcare and she lives right here in Dallas, Texas. She is a nervous system based life and leadership strategist who helps high performing leaders experience freedom from mental stress and build emotional resilience using science backed mind body tools including इमोशनल फ्रीडम टेक्निक, जो मैंने EFT बोला था. चलिए हम वेलकम करेंगे डॉक्टर सहाना शरण जो डैलस में रहती है. वेलकम टू द शो सहाना. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining this early morning, because Sundays are the days who wants to, everybody wants to relax, wake up आराम से, and then have a cup of tea or coffee and just laze around. But you have joined our show, Bharat Anveshan. Thank you very much and welcome to the show. How are you this morning?
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you for having me. It's a joy speaking with you as always. I'm doing very well.
वेरी नाइस, वेरी नाइस. तो दर्शकों को मैं बता रहा था कि थैंक यू टू शरण अंगड़ी, राइट. तो डॉक्टर शरण अंगड़ी, ही इज़ ए साइंटिस्ट बाय हिमसेल्फ, एज एन एग्रीकल्चरल साइंटिस्ट मैं बोल सकता हूँ, एंड ए गुड फ्रेंड ऑफ आवर्स. एंड इनकी जो सुपुत्री है वो सहना जी है, जो हमारे शरण जी जो बेंगलोर में है. आई एम प्रेटी श्योर शरण यू मस्ट बी वॉचिंग द शो टुडे, एंड आई एम वेरी वेरी प्राउड, एंड यू मस्ट बी वेरी प्राउड that your daughter is doing so excellent here in Dallas. तो सहना जी, चलिए आज का ही हम कार्यक्रम शुरू करते हैं. एंड डेफिनेटली पीपल वुड लाइक टू नो मोर अबाउट यू. आप ओरिजिनली कहाँ से हैं और यहाँ डैलस में आके कितने साल हो गए हैं, हाउ मेनी इयर्स यू हैव बीन इन डैलस. तो ये अगर आप हमारे दर्शकों को बताएंगे तो दैट वुड बी नाइस.
हाँ राजीव, ओरिजिनली मैं बेंगलोर से हूँ और वहीं पे पढ़ाई सब खत्म किया और यहाँ यूएस को आई मैं 2007.
ओके.
I came here to pursue my master's program, and I was in New York University, completed that program, and then I switched. I finished my medical school training in India and came here, did my master's, and then moved into the business side of healthcare. And that's the work that I've been doing. I've lived in Dallas now for 11 plus years, but in the United States for close to 18 years.
Wow, that's a phenomenon, I would say. I mean, you came to New York to study and then, continued or pursued your, living here, and by doing this on the business side of medical healthcare. So what exactly does it mean? I mean, business side of medical healthcare.
Yeah.
Or the healthcare, sorry.
Yeah, so there are 2 aspects to that. One is the patient care as doctors that deliver direct patient care and treat them and help them get better. On the business side of healthcare is everything else that goes on to support the physicians, deliver good care. So what I believe in is practicing both. So of course, as a physician, I practice medicine. And then when I switch to the business side, it is how do you set up systems to help as many patients as we possibly can, and to deliver better patient care, better quality, better outcomes at a lower cost.
Wow, that's a very interesting, and of course it has to be there in order to run the show, because for the physicians or the people who on the medical side, if they have to run the show, the business side has to be there to complement each other. That's fantastic. So when did you think that you should get into this nervous based, reduce mental stress, or get into the executive level people and trying to help them. So when
Yeah.
did you feel that you want to do that?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, Rajiv. So my introduction into this world happened a few years ago.
Okay.
It was completely by coincidence. I wasn't
Okay.
looking or searching. I was reading an article online,
Okay.
and the article talked about anxiety, it talked about stress that us as leaders go through on a day-to-day basis, right? If you're a human, then you have stress in life. That's a given. So I was curious because as a leader over the last several years, I'd experienced it, but didn't know how to name things. For example, I used to feel anxious before getting on calls or speaking in front of an audience or even showing up and being seen. So I never knew that that was anxiety to make the connection that I was anxious. And so I was reading this article and it opened up a new door. It talked about emotional freedom technique, and I was very curious. And the more I started to research, the more it became apparent to me that this is something that they never taught me in medical school. I never learned this. Of course, we learn about the nervous system, we learn about the brain, how the systems function, but nothing that spoke at a deeper level of what is actually happening when we face stress or things that happen in our life that causes tension or nervousness or anxiety. So it was the beginning of that journey, and it took me down this path. So it was all by coincidence that happened a few years ago.
Wow. Interesting, because as you rightly said, stress is a part or integral part of our life, because every human being definitely experiences the stress.
Yeah.
However, but why it happens, the stress itself, because there are many factors, of course. If you are overloaded, if you are not really able to take care of the workload, or just if you could tell us
Yes,
how it develops, the actual stress itself.
absolutely, Rajiv. So there are two aspects to this. One is what happens in the body when there is something that happens externally, and the second is how do we cope with it.
Hmm.
What happens in the body when there are events that happen outside of our body, the way we interpret it, and what it means to us. For example, somebody spoke rudely or harshly. That is outside of us. We don't control how somebody behaves, but it causes us a little bit of sadness or depression or anxiety or fear. So in the body, what's happening is we have something called as the energy channels. And this is something at the energy level that I'm going to talk a little bit about.
Yes, please.
And when there is external stressors, those are the trigger events. And the way we interpret it and process it in our body, the energy channels, we have very equivalent to the Ayurvedic system, what we call as nadis. And those energy channels get blocked because of our response to it. And over a long period of time, if we don't do something to help alleviate that stress and we continue to be stressed, it shows up in the body as psychosomatic condition, like a
Okay.
heart disease or a blood pressure or diabetes. These are all stress related conditions over a long period of time. And if we don't address it, it results in what is disease. And the coping mechanism is the second part, right? We have all these things, the stressors that are happening, but if we don't cope or if we don't have tools to help cope with that, then that is where we struggle. We go to school, we learn math, science, history, everything, but we are not taught how do we deal with the stresses of daily life and how do we cope with what is a human condition across the board. So those are the two aspects. One is what happens to us and how do we respond and react, and the other is do we have the coping skills to overcome that. And that is where emotional freedom technique is one of those coping techniques.
So when you said coping techniques, because I remember that some of the people, and also you mentioned that there are certain diseases like diabetes or blood
Yeah.
pressure, all these things, right, related to the stress. And for example, So is that the stress? There are some people who doesn't show the stress, right? I mean, they don't react from outside, right? But I mean, but they develop this silently, these diseases like diabetes or something like that. So how does it, like, is it something like an imbalance of the chemical reaction, what is happening within the body that leads to that? I mean, how does it really work? Or how does it
Absolutely.
develop? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. How do we connect what happens to the
Yeah.
condition itself?
Yeah.
Yes. So one of the mechanisms, what stress does is increases a hormone called as a cortisol in the body.
Okay.
That is a stress-based hormone. And when we have events that happen in our life, if it is a safety issue, we have to run away from what is a safety issue, or we have to react and respond to keep ourselves safe. So cortisol is one such hormone that gets spiked up in the body when there is something that causes us a safety issue. And that helps the body respond and react, so run away, and it kind of helps up the system. But stress is one of those things which is a chronic stress over a long period of time. That cortisol hormone stays high over a very long period of time, which is not good for the body. If it is a one-time thing,
Yeah.
the hormone spikes up and then it comes back to normal. But stress over a consistent period of time leaves that cortisol hormone at a high level, which then starts to affect different parts of our body, including the heart and pancreas, which is the organ that produces insulin, which controls
Oh,
how the sugar is processed in the
sugar.
body, leading to diabetes, right? So it affects multiple organ systems, and that is one of the root causes of how stress is linked to how it shows up in the body.
Wow, that is very, very informative because I always wondered when people would say, or the doctor would say, hey, this is a stress related issue. That is why you are, or, somebody who is going through that, right? Diabetic or high blood pressure or so on and so forth. Okay, now it explains that how they are connected. Wow, that's incredible information. So emotional freedom technique, Sana, you mentioned that that is one of the technique you used or you use right now to work with different personalities. So can you explain on the emotional freedom technique as such?
Yeah, emotional freedom technique is a combination of cognitive behavioral therapy, which is what modern therapy is based on, exposure therapy, which is typically used in phobias or allergies, and acupressure points.
Okay.
So it combines those three modalities into one simple technique. And what it involves is tapping on the end channels of the meridian endpoints. So earlier I talked about the energy channels in our body. So these have endpoints throughout our body, in our system, and gently creating a tapping rhythm on these endpoints helps release what is blocked in our body in those energy channels. So ultimately, it's nothing but emotional freedom technique is a gentle stress reduction technique that helps release what is blocked and release that energy so we can then process it and move on as opposed to it staying blocked.
Wow. So also people say that if you have to release the stress, you can do the workout, you can listen to the music, and so on and so forth. So let's take a quick break here and listen to one of the music, and we'll come back.
Sounds good. Right before a big meeting or a presentation, or any moment when all eyes are going to be on you, if you feel a spike of anxiety, or your heart races, or your chest tightens, and you feel as if you can't breathe, it does not mean you're weak. That is just a sign that your nervous system is in overdrive. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a 90-second pre-spotlight ritual that you can use anytime to reset, signal safety to your brain, and walk in with calm authority. Now, here are the 3 steps. Step 1, quick scan and tapping. Step 2 is breathing and grounding. Step 3, rescan and reset. Let's start with step 1, quick scan and tapping. For this, think of an upcoming event. It could be a meeting, a presentation in front of a crowd, or just speaking up in a meeting. As you think of that event, name that emotion that comes up for you right now. Does that make you feel nervous, tense, or anxious? Write that emotion down. Now next, rate the intensity of that emotion from 0 to 10 and write it down. Notice where you feel it in your body. It could be in your chest, stomach, head. For me, it's usually in my chest or my shoulders. And if you don't feel it in your body, that's completely okay. For example, thinking of a presentation, I might write down something like nervous, intensity of 8, and in my stomach. Next, we are going to tap on the side of the hand, repeating a statement we are going to come up with. To each person, the statement will be different. But the basic statement goes something like this. Even though I feel blank, insert your emotion here, in my blank. Insert where in your body you feel this. Thinking about blank, insert the event or the presentation. I accept how I feel and I'm open to shifting it. For example, if you're thinking about a presentation and you're feeling nervous in your stomach, you might say something like, even though I feel nervous in my stomach, thinking about that presentation, I accept how I'm feeling and I'm open to shifting it. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'll say the statement out loud with space for you to insert your emotion, where in your body you feel it, and what event you're thinking about. We're going to repeat that statement 3 times. Let's start. Even though I feel in my thinking about, I accept how I'm feeling and I'm open to shifting it. Even though I feel in my thinking about, I accept how I'm feeling and I'm open to shifting it. Even though I feel in my thinking about, I accept how I'm feeling and I'm open to shifting it. Now, some leaders ask me, if I say out loud how I'm feeling, won't that make it worse? Actually, it's the opposite. When you acknowledge how you feel, you're not feeding the emotion, you are freeing it. Most of us spend so much energy trying not to feel that emotion that our body actually ends up holding on to it tighter. But the moment you name it, your brain will start to calm down. Next, you're going to tap through the other points that include top of the head, eyebrow, side of the eye, under the nose, chin, collarbone, and side of the chest. And we are going to go tap through 2 rounds through all these points. These are all meridian endpoints in your body, and tapping along these points helps signal safety to your brain and nervous system. So let's go back and think of that event again and tune into that emotion and say to yourself as you tap along with me, this nervous feeling, all this pressure in my body. I notice the tightness. It feels uncomfortable. Part of me worries I'll mess up, but it's okay, I'm just human. I accept these feelings and I'm ready to let it go. I don't need to be perfect. It is safe to slow my breath. I can bring my full self into the room. I don't have to prove anything. I can let my presence speak for itself. I choose calm authority. I can focus on what matters. I have got this. What you've done so far is tap along the side of your hand, repeating that statement 3 times, and then 2 rounds of tapping through the other points. Leaders often ask me, how many times should I tap on each point? It's good if you can tap on each point about 7 times, but I wouldn't worry too much about the number of times. It is more important that you're tuned into that emotion than the number of times to tap on each point. And then we move into step 2, which is breathing and grounding. Roll your shoulders back, inhale slowly through your nose, and then exhale out your mouth a little longer than you inhaled. Next, whether you're sitting or standing, just go ahead and feel your feet on the ground and feel yourself fully supported. And as you sit or stand tall, breathe into the words, I have got this. The next step is step 3, rescan and reset. Check in with yourself now. As you think of that moment, event, or that meeting, how are you feeling? What emotion comes up for you? And on a scale of 0 to 10, how intense is it? If it's still above a 3, go back and repeat the tapping rounds until the intensity drops further. Even a small shift means your nervous system is resetting. If you forget the words on what to say or feel stuck, don't worry. Silently tapping along the points as you tune into that emotion can work just as quickly. And that's it. All of that takes about 90 seconds, and you can do it anywhere you're comfortable. You can even do it in the bathroom stall before that next big meeting or presentation. Try it and experience the shift in how you show up.
That's the music for your ears, ladies and gentlemen. And you saw the technique, how Dr. Sahana explained it. So this is amazing, like 90 seconds, that's all it takes.
That's the beauty of emotional freedom technique, Rajiv. It
Uh-huh.
works in the moment. It works when we are feeling triggered or anxious. And of course, there are more rounds that people can apply depending on how intense the feeling is. The good thing is we have many resources available. We have meditation, we have journaling, we have yoga, breath work. They're all beautiful. And I myself have practiced many of those. But what stood out to me with emotional freedom technique when I underwent the training and the certification is that it was able to help me in the moment when I was experiencing those feelings,
Wow.
anxiety or nervousness. And what happens is when you apply the technique, it releases it, and then you actually get better over time. So, for example, I used to be very nervous and anxious being on camera. That was one of my nervousness. Um, and I did a lot of kind of inner work and a journey to help me overcome that. And now I show up and I feel fine. There is no anxiety. I feel fully present. I'm able to engage and have a conversation as opposed to feeling nervous or anxious. So that's how EFT is different compared to the other resources.
So this particular technique that you said, 90 seconds technique, how many times in a day one has to do it? Or is it like anytime randomly you can do anywhere?
I've seen both ways. In the way that I offer as option to the people that I work with is you can set a set time in the beginning of the day
Okay.
to dedicate about 5 minutes. If you're just do a check-in in the beginning of the day to see how you're feeling. Are you feeling already stressed and anxious? If so, just take 5 minutes and keep that aside to go through tapping. So it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the day. Another way to also use it is, like I said, in the moment when you're feeling triggered.
In the moment.
For as simple as you're driving and somebody cuts you off and you're angry, angry because they just cut you off and they were very rude.
Yeah.
So in the moment, instead of feeling triggered, and not that you have your hands on the steering wheel. So if you're stopped at the stoplight, just tap along the different points to release that stress or that anger.
See, it's such a beautiful example that you gave, driving, right? Recently, there was a road rage near Irving, and one guy, shot the other person because he overtook him.
Yeah.
And this is a very solid example for that. So you can control your anger management that we call, right? And that can be controlled effectively. uh, just drive, just park at a place and just do this
Yeah.
and calm your mind and calm authority that you mentioned. And
Mhm.
I think that has to be under control. And so
Yeah.
that way you can bring you back. So
Absolutely.
so normally you, when you do the like corporate training or lessons, like what kind of audience you normally look for or being targeted,
Yeah.
so that they can get uh, some peace, some advice, some make themselves very comfortable in terms of moving forward, right? I mean, they don't stuck in their own
Yeah.
um, so-called how do I say, introvert, with that fear
Mhm.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There are two aspects to that, Rajiv.
okay,
One is these are typically leaders that are in high stakes roles.
okay, like a
It's a visible
CEO.
role,
Yeah. Okay.
possibly CEO, VPs, director level and above, who have people and responsibility and expectations of performance.
Mm.
And there are two aspects to that. One is on the day-to-day basis. These people are having difficult conversations. They are having some conflict resolution and negotiations on an ongoing basis, or even sales, where there is a lot of emotion tied to that. When
Yeah,
there is
numbers, right, for the sales. Yeah.
there is pressure too.
Yeah.
Absolutely, there is
Yeah.
pressure. There is a lot of pressure that people go through,
Yeah.
and it's the external world. How do you show up in a regulated, calm way, so you actually have access to your thinking brain and you're able to problem solve and handle the conversation and navigate different relationships and stakeholders at the company, your CEO, your external stakeholders, whatever that situation is. So that's one context of how I work with leadership within the corporate setting. The other is on an individual level. What's happening within our body when it's time to get that promotion? Or have this high visibility project that you all of a sudden have to present to a bunch of different senior leaders in the company. There is that visibility that spikes anxiety. Oh my God, I'm going to be in front of these high stakes people, high authority people. So there is anxiety, there is nervousness. Can I do this? Am I good enough? There are all these things that are kind of happening beneath the surface. So those are the two contexts in which I help people, is how to overcome that fear of visibility, fear of being seen, and stepping into that role with full confidence so you can actually express and be fulfill your potential in that role. What happens when people are second guessing themselves is they hold themselves back.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not right for this role. Maybe I shouldn't be applying to this promotion because maybe I'm not good enough. So, people, one of the biggest things that I see is people holding their potential back
Mm.
and not living up their full potential because of all these fears and limiting beliefs that are happening behind the scenes. So, this is where I help them one to one, go deeper, release all those things that are not serving so they can show up as their full selves.
Yeah, and normally you target like a group of how many in a, when you do this kind of, I would call it as training, for example.
Yeah.
So are there like specified numbers of people that you want to have in a group, or how?
Uh, Predominantly, I work one to one.
Okay.
There are different ways that I work with people. It's one to one, or I also have workshops that I
Okay,
work with a
workshops.
group
Okay.
of about 15 to 20 people. And within the corporate setting, it could be anywhere from groups of 6 to 12. And
Okay.
it's both the group as well as the individual. Uh,
And these are done in person as well as online.
Online. Yes. The
Okay.
beauty of this is I can coach them, hold space, and we have these wonderful technologies such as Zoom and other
Yeah.
venues to connect with people. And across the country, people internationally as well, I can connect with them online. And
Wow, that's fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are running into any kind of stress or any kind of challenges, for example, as Dr. Sahana mentioned right now, that there's anxiety, there is stress, there is pressure, right? It can relate to anybody. For instance, she can work with you on one-to-one basis, or if you are a group of people in a small organization or medium or a large organization, she can work on those as well as a workshop, basically, so that you can implement, you can take her techniques and apply and see how it works, how it transforms yourself. And we'll have more talks after this small break.
कभी भूला कभी याद किया, कभी भूला कभी याद किया, कभी भूला कभी याद किया, कभी भूला कभी याद किया। मेरे प्यार में, मेरे इंतजार में, सच सच कहो दिल ने क्या किया।
कभी भूला कभी याद किया, कभी भूला कभी याद किया, कभी भूला कभी याद किया, कभी भूला कभी याद किया।
सर पे मेरे हाथ रख तू, मुझको बता एक बार, कैसे कटे तेरे दिन, कैसे कटी तेरी रात।
कुछ मैं जली कुछ दिल जला, खुद पे नहीं कोई बस चला, और बताऊं क्या साजन, बेचैन दिल का मैं हाल, पल पल तेरे लिए रोई। मेरे दीदार में सजना, मेरे प्यार में सच सच था तुमने क्या किया।
कभी भूला कभी याद किया, कभी भूला कभी याद किया।
Good morning and welcome back to Bharat Anveshan. This is your host Rajiv Kulkarni. Today we have a special guest with us, Dr. Sahana Sharan. She lives in Dallas and she practices something called emotional freedom technique on a corporate level or one-to-one level to tackle the stress, to tackle the pressure, to tackle the anxiety, and so, which can definitely be very effective in terms of for you to control those emotions and move on with your life in a very smoother way. Welcome back, Sahana, after this lovely 90s duet song, and sometimes it really gives good pleasure to the ears. And as you rightly said, music is one of the thing which also releases, and that's what I have heard. If you sing, if you listen to music, I think that is also one of the technique I heard, that you can control the stress level. Is that true?
Yeah, it causes vibrations in the body.
Okay.
It comes down to how do you create the atmosphere externally, and that elevates the vibrations in the atmosphere and also vibrations in the body.
Wow.
As we speak or as we say certain mantras, chant them, they all work at that vibration energy level for sure. Yeah.
So I know that a lot of people talk about stress in the sense, अरे बहुत स्ट्रेस था यार, बहुत स्ट्रेस है आज, जॉब में बहुत स्ट्रेस है,
Yeah.
but I don't feel like that when I work or when I'm doing so many things, right? I mean, I'm not trying to boast myself, but I'm trying to understand what exactly stress means, okay? Because is that something you really feel? Is that something that I will act differently? Is that something, I will be so mad at somebody, or I mean, how do you define that basically?
Stress is nothing but a reaction
Reaction, okay?
to what happens around us. So there are two options when something happens that we either don't like or we think it's going to cause us worry. There are two options,
Oh,
right? Either we can react or respond.
hmm.
And that goes back to the conditioning and the patterning that we have had from earlier days. Childhood has a lot of bearing on how we show up today, even as adults. Mentally, we would have processed a lot of those emotions and what happens. But at the energetic level, at the emotional, psychological level, there are still some wounds that people have that they carry all their life.
Oh,
Even though they hide in the shadows, they're still dictating and controlling how we show up, how we react or respond to what happens, right? So there are things called stressors, is what I call them,
okay.
that those are the events that happen to us. But different people respond to it differently. Why is that? It's because how we are conditioned and patterned, and what do we respond to versus react. Some things causes worry, they cause us nervousness, anxiety, and that's all based on how an individual is um, composed or how they are conditioned over their years. But it is possible. It doesn't have to remain that way. A person that is in a high stress environment, they can regulate themselves in a way that they show up and respond to it differently.
Wow.
Things may be happening as stressors, but people don't have to lose hope and say this is never going to change. It can change when we start to regulate ourselves and release that stress and process it and release it. So you can witness the change.
Wow. So, okay, the reaction or the response. Okay, that's those are really good points to remember, because I always wonder, why people say that, they are under stress. A lot of stress is there in their working environment, whether it's normal professional life or their personal life. They talk about stress, and I keep wondering what exactly is that. But it's very good to know about this. So you also have written a book lately. So can you tell something about that?
Yeah, it's called as the spotlight cure.
Spotlight cure, okay.
Yes. And as the name might imply, it is in the moments of visibility.
Mm-hmm.
How do you show up as your calm, grounded self? And the book is based on a lot of real life stories. It is filled with a lot of stories of people, including myself, and of the clients that I've worked with who are in leadership positions, and provides a practical step by step roadmap to overcome the fear and the nervousness that happens before people show up. It could be in front of a team meeting, it could be in front of an audience. Anytime the eyes are on us, there is a spotlight, right? People are focused on us of what are they going to say. And the roadmap itself is a 5-step roadmap, starting at the foundation of emotional mastery. Emotions of fear, anxiety, nervousness, stress, tension, whatever that may be. Because when we set that as a foundation, then we have space to build on it. When we are calm, we are regulated, and we are grounded. So it starts with emotional mastery. Second is it goes into limiting beliefs, where we may show up a certain way, but there are things that are happening in the back of our mind in the shadows of like, oh, what if I mess up? What if people make fun of me? Or what if I am judged in a harsh, critical way? Or there is this fear of failure. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? So all these thoughts are in the shadow that are controlling how we show up. So limiting beliefs is a big part of the work that I uh, do. So these are all like layers, right? Emotions, limiting beliefs. And the next piece is taking action called intentional action. Once we are emotionally calm, regulated, and we have addressed those beliefs, then how do you take action, even if it's a small step towards what it is you want to do? And the fourth is tenacity and the resilience, because things are invariably going to happen.
Yeah.
But how do we bounce back with resilience? How do we create create that in a way that helps us. And the final is embodiment, which is how do you show up as your calm, regulated self in a way that you can be present for the moment and experience it. People want to put themselves out there but are too afraid to be seen. But if you can show up as your calm, grounded self and embody that, then you can be present for what's happening. So the roadmap itself is an acronym called ELITE:
Elite.
emotional mastery, limiting beliefs, intentional action, tenacity, and embodiment. So that's what the book covers, the roadmap, and provides tools and videos within the book, Rajiv.
Wow. And these books are available online to buy or how?
It is available on Amazon
On
here in the
Amazon.
US,
Okay.
and in India, it is available as an ebook format that people can download.
Wow. That's interesting. I need to buy that book now. And also, I have seen, I have heard, like people when they get into stress, they eat a lot.
Mhm.
And why that makes them to eat a lot? They eat all junk food, and all those things.
Yeah.
What actually makes them to do that?
Yeah. Stress is one of those events. What happens when that is happening is our body needs to somehow calm itself down. And eating is one of those coping mechanisms that creates a distraction. And when you eat, there are hormones produced that calms the body down. Oh, okay, I'm safe. I'm okay. And it's unfortunately an unhealthy coping mechanism that's linked to stress, where people kind of resort to that. There is other few like distraction, addictions that people get into
Yeah.
that triggered from stress. It could be smoking, gambling, what have you, different kinds of addictions. So body has to have a way of calming and regulating itself. And unfortunately, when people don't have appropriate resources, it results in unhealthy coping mechanisms, and overeating and emotional eating is what we call it.
Emotional eating. Okay. Wow. Wow, interesting. Because I've seen people doing that, and like eating, like lot of chips packet, and without any control on that. So now I understand why they are doing that. Okay, interesting. So, what do you like tell the people that how they can reach out to you, and you have a website, or you have any contact details that you can share today
Yes.
with our audience? Yeah.
Yes, of course, Rajiv. I have a website called intentionalleaderbydesign.com. And it is very much capturing the essence of the work that I do
Intentional leader
by
by
design.com.
design. Okay. So they are all one word.
It is one word.
Intentionally. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And people can, there are a few reviews. There is also my electronic copy of the book if they want to download there.
Oh,
And they can also
they can buy there also the book.
correct. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's much easy. So to buy the book.
Yeah.
Okay. Intentional leader by design.com. Please do visit that website. Learn more about Dr. Sahana Sharan, and also download the book. And definitely, I think it might transform your thought process, and in a positive way, I would say. And Sahana, we are almost like another 7-8 minutes remaining. And any messages that you want to give it to our audience today before
Yeah.
we sign off? It
Yeah.
can give a good message, no problem. No, don't worry about the time.
Yeah. So I want to say that life is meant to be lived. And a lot of the times we are struggling with these invisible things that we can't put our finger on. And the message is there is hope. There are different solutions available and resources available. Emotional freedom technique. I mentioned this briefly earlier, but it is evidence based, science backed. There are many studies that are performed on emotional freedom technique that helps with anxiety, depression, PTSD, phobias, addictions, as you can see, emotions have a link to so many different ways in how it shows up and how do we respond to stress, right? Stress is linked so much to the emotions, and there are different aspects of emotions. But there is a tool, there is a technique that helps overcome that. And this is just one of the modalities. There are, of course, other modalities to help with managing things like stress, anxiety, or nervousness. So I would say don't lose hope. There is definitely a pathway forward available to you. Change is possible. I am a living example of that. That transformation is possible. Years ago, I worked in the corporate environment for 15 years, and I continue to work at a startup. But my experiences in the corporate world would have been completely different had I known that these techniques and tools were available. The nervousness, the anxiety, the burnout, and overworking all kind of were related to how I was not able to overcome those emotions. And I wish I had these tools back then. But never, better late than never. All those experiences kind of led me to what the work that I do to help others.
Others.
Yeah, and my final message would be live your life to the fullest. You have more potential, and life is meant to be lived. So tap into your potential, don't hold yourself back, and live your potential.
Absolutely brilliantly said, I would say. And as you rightly mentioned, at the corporate level, when you were working, if you had known these techniques of obviously, I mean, by your experience, you have developed these techniques now and to help others for sure. So, yeah, to all the audience out there, as Dr. Sahana mentioned, live your life the fullest that is possible. And philosophically also, we always say that life is comes for only once, and you have to live the fullest and do the best, and do those right things that makes you happy, and try to avoid getting into stress at any given point of time, as you can use the EFT techniques that Dr. Sahana would like to offer and would be there to offer. And do visit her website. One more time, Sahana, if you can say that.
It is intentionalleaderbydesign.com.
Thank you very much. Intentionalleaderbydesign.com. Please do visit the website and explore all the details. And if you are interested in download the book and if you are interested in getting a workshop arranged, please do talk to Dr. Sahana directly. You are more than welcome to talk to her. And if you still want to get her number and contacts, you can contact Bharat Anveshan, and I'll be more than happy to provide the same to you. So, Dr. Sahana, thank you so very much for spending the morning of this Sunday and sharing your beautiful experience, sharing what is, the emotional, the technique that you use, the EFT technique, the emotional freedom technique, for making the people the way they are supposed to live and getting out of the stress, anxiety, and all this pressure filled life they are leading. And yes, and I wish you all the best for your venture, and we'll be here to support as and when as you need from us. And thank you all the audience out there for watching our show, supporting the show and supporting the channel as always. And thank you, Sandeep, for supporting the technical backup. And with that, एक ही बात बोलना चाहता हूँ, जहाँ पे भी रहिएगा तंदुरुस्त रहिए, हैप्पी रहिए, और healthy रहिए. Eat healthy, be happy, and think all the positive things in life which makes you happy always. चलिए अगले हफ्ते फिर मिलेंगे एक और एपिसोड के साथ. आपका दोस्त राजीव कुलकर्णी आज का ये कार्यक्रम का साइन ऑफ करना चाहता हूँ. फिर मिलते हैं. थैंक यू ऑल वेरी मच.
Thank you.